ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Bhagavad Gita, the 64th verse of the second chapter. Sorry for the inconvenience. There was some break in the connectivity of the internet, so we had to discontinue. We started with all the mantra and everything, and it got discontinued. We are going to start it again now. We will start the discussion on the 64th verse by chanting the one of the meditation verses of Bhagavad Gita. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Now we shall chant the 64th verse of the second chapter and then go to the deeper aspect of that verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Blessed Lord said, Ragadvesha Viyuktaistu Ragadvesha Viyuktaistu Vishayanindriyaischaran Vishayanindriyaischaran Atmavasyairvidheyatma Atmavasyairvidheyatma Prasadhamadhigacchati Prasadhamadhigacchati. The simple meaning of the 64th verse in the second chapter is, the Blessed Lord is saying to Arjuna the different character, nature of the Sthita Prajna, perfect man who has realized his own Atman. What is Lord Krishna telling in this verse, 64th verse? But one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion, even while using the objects of senses, he attains tranquility of mind or grace of God. So today let us deal this verse from the devotional perspective of the bhaktas. The entire downward spiral leading to ruin begins with contemplating happiness in the sense objects. So we studied in the 63rd and the 62nd verse that the entire downward spiral leading to ruin, you noted that the last one, Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. The downward spiral leading to ruin begins which started with a very small thought contemplating happiness in sense objects. Now, the urge for happiness is a natural tendency in us, in all the living beings, as we have thirst and hunger in the physical body. It is impossible to think, I will not contemplate happiness anyway, because it's not easy. The simple solution then is to envision happiness in the proper direction. That is the Lord, Paramatman. If we can repeatedly revise the thought that happiness is in God, real happiness is in God, it is not in the senses, then we start developing gradually, slowly, the attachment towards the Lord. This divine attachment will not degrade the mind. So all other kind of attachment to the worldly things will degrade us, will destroy us, will give us misery, unhappiness. But attachment to God will not be so. It is not like material attachment. So the divine attachment, it will purify us. Why? Because God is all pure. And when we attach our mind to Him, the mind will become pure. Thus, whenever and wherever Lord Krishna asks us to give up attachment and desire, He is referring only to material attachment, which brings those things which brings us misery, and the material attachment and those desires which are troublesome. But there are higher attachments, that spiritual, divine, godly attachment, spiritual attachment and desire towards God is not to be given up. In fact, they are praiseworthy. The divine attachment towards God has to be cultivated, made strong, and increased for the purification of the mind. The greater the burning desire we develop for God, the purer our mind will become. Now, from the standpoint of Gnana Marga or Vedanta, Vedanta has all the three: Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Advaita. So, from the standpoint of monoism, Advaita, who propound the worship of undifferentiated, attributeless Satchidananda Brahman, it is difficult for them to comprehend this. They too, it is a gradual process. Even in the Shankara philosophy, they give much credence to bhakti for the purification of the mind. So, here, recommending giving up all attachments means only the worldly things, worldly attachment, which leads us to misery. However, Lord Krishna states, those who attach their minds to me, to the Lord, me here means the Lord, with unadulterated devotion, bhakti, they rise above the three modes of material nature and attain the level of Supreme Brahman. Where is it told in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 26th verse? It is told, those who attach their minds to me, that is the Lord, with unadulterated devotion, Ananya Bhakti, they rise above the three modes of material nature and attain the level of Supreme Brahman. Then again, Lord Krishna repeatedly urges Arjuna to attach his mind to God in many verses ahead. I'll go on telling the number, the verse number and the chapter number. You can go and search it, where Lord urges us to get attached to God, to attach our mind to God, which is very helpful. So, what are those verses? The verses are 8, 7. Then that is 8th chapter, 7th verse. Then 8th chapter, 14th verse. Then 9th chapter, 22nd verse. Again 9th chapter, 34th verse. 10th chapter, 10th verse. 12th chapter 8th verse, 11th chapter 54th verse, 18th chapter 55th verse, 18th chapter 58th verse, 18th chapter 65th verse. So still there are so many verses where Lord Krishna urges Arjuna, and through Arjuna to all of us, to attach our mind to God. So attachment, then now we should understand what is this word called attachment, raga, and what is this word called dvesha, hatred. So attachment and aversion are two sides of the same coin. Aversion is nothing but negative attachment. Little hatred is another form of love. I have given the example of the fox. In our childhood days, we used to study that story of the fox. The fox or the jackal went to eat the ripened and sweet grapes in the vineyard. It jumped and jumped, and that beautiful sweet grapes, ripened grapes, couldn't be cut hold of. Even though it jumped with all its strength, it couldn't get it. So finally, it got upset. It loved to eat that, but it got upset. Then it told, the grape is very sour. It's not good. Unripened grapes, very bad grapes. It scolded the grapes and went away. Earlier, it now knew that that was ripened. It was very sweet. It wanted to try. It tried and tried. It didn't get. So the same love got converted into hatred. So it started scolding the grape. It is sour, and went away. We all know that. So what is hatred? Hatred is another form of love. So when you cannot get the object of love, the object of attachment, the same love turns into hatred. That's all. So when all these things happen in the case of worldly material things, but when you turn the same mind towards God, the aversion or attachment is not going to trouble you. That also when turned everything, hatred towards God, love towards God, everything will become a boon. It will take us more and more nearer towards God. It will give us tranquility. Attachment and aversion are the two sides of the same coin. Aversion is nothing but negative attachment. Just as in attachment, the object of attachment repeatedly comes to one's mind, similarly in aversion, the object of hatred keeps popping up in the mind. So, attachment and aversion to material objects both have the same effect on the mind. They dirty it, they trouble it, and pull it into three modes of material nature. When the mind is free from both attachment and aversion and is absorbed in devotion to God, one receives the grace of God and experiences His unlimited divine bliss. On experiencing that higher taste, the mind no longer feels attracted to the sense objects, even while using them. Even while you are in the midst of that attracting, addictive things, the sense objects, you no longer feel attracted to those sense objects. Thus, even while tasting, touching, smelling, hearing, and seeing, like all of us, the Sthita Prajna, the man, the person who has controlled his mind, controlled his indriyas, the sense organs, and his mind has become steady, he has realized God, is free from both attachment and aversion. One who has realized God, he is free from all these attachment and aversion, even in spite of moving in the midst of all the things of attachment, things of attraction, like the sense objects, he will not be disturbed because he has attained the tranquility of mind, prasadam, that is called tranquility of mind. Peacefulness of the mind is called prasadam. So we have now inquired, we have now dealt this same verse with the help of the devotional attitude. Now let us study the same verse intellectually, because not only emotionally we have to study uh, intellectually too. So let us now go and practically, emotionally, intellectually, and also practically, and we have to make it relevant to the present day too. So now coming to the present day, How can we make this particular verse very relevant to this time, to this present period we live in? So let us go to study it in that fashion. Ragadvesha vyuktaistu Vishayan Indriyeshcharan Atmavashyehi Vidheyatma Prasadamadigaccati. But the self-controlled person moving among the sense objects, the attractive things, with the senses under one's restraint and free from attraction and aversion, attains to tranquility. Prasadam Adigacchati. Bhagavad Gita does not want us to leave the sensory world. It's not running away, escapism. Bhagavad Gita is not asking us to run away to the caves of Himalaya or some other place, living out the society, not facing the reality. Bhagavad Gita never is asking us to do that thing. So it doesn't want us to run away from the sensory world and go to lead an ascetic life in some corner. That is the reason you can see Vivekananda made all the sannyasis of Ramakrishna order to stay in the midst of the society and serve the society, and then be in the midst of the society, and then go towards God realization, seeing God in all the living beings, serving the human beings, seeing God everywhere. So try to go forward in spiritual life. That is the idea. Never run away. And Lord Krishna is also telling in Bhagavad Gita not to run away. Stay in the world. Move about in the attractive or repulsive sense objects, and you should still be calm, tranquil, without any disturbance of the mind. So live in the world, live in the midst of the sensory objects. There is no harm. Just like Sri Ramakrishna used to tell, the lotus lives in the mud, in the water. The leaf of the lotus will be always in the water, but it never gets stuck to water. You see, lift it up, the leaf, immediately the water will roll like pearls and fall down. It's dry. It is always staying in water, but never touches the water. Even Ramakrishna gives the example of the mud fish. It's not like the ordinary fish. That fish specially lives in the mud, slushy waters, slushy, muddy water. In spite of that, that mud or the slush or any dirt doesn't get attached to the body of that fish. So, like that, you stay in the midst of this world. All the sense objects, the attracting thing, the addictive things are everywhere. But you should not get attached to that. You should have firm mind control and the sense control. And how can that be possible? By the tranquility of the mind. When your mind has realized the highest joy, it has got the highest bliss, then how will it go for all these smaller bliss? So in spite of moving about in all the sense objects and other things by the prasadam, by the tranquility of the mind, if you have controlled your mind, nothing is going to happen. So there is no harm living in the midst of the world, in the samsara, but do something to strengthen yourself against the energies that have the tendency to pull you down. So raga, dvesha are the two enemies. Vyuktaistu, raga, dvesha, vyuktaistu. When you give up raga, attachment, and dvesha, hatred or aversion. Attachment and aversion. Vishayan indriyehi charan. With your sensory systems, that is yourself, your body, moving freely among sensory objects. Now you will see the beautiful pickles, but your tongues may also be watery to see the pickles, beautiful eatables there. But your mind is tranquil, it doesn't want to get attracted to that. So, Vishayan Indriyehi Charan. With your sensory system moving freely among sensory objects, Charan means moving about freely. But Atmavashyehi, by one who is self-possessed, controlled, Vidhyatma, a person who has achieved self-mastery. His mind, his intellect, and also all the senses are completely under his control. He is Vidhyatma. They're all obedient. All these things, the instruments are obedient to him. He has achieved self-mastery. Such a person, prasadham adhigacchati, attains real peace, tranquility, serenity. The calm, joyous, free state of mind is called prasada. So what is prasada? We think that going to the temple or preparation of something, then offering to God, and then eating is prasada. Yeah, that is also prasada. That is the at the common level that is called prasada. But at the higher level, what is the real meaning? The internal meaning, reading between the lines, the real aspect of prasada is the calm, joyous, free state of mind, the serenity of the mind, the tranquility of the mind is called prasada. Such a person attains to tranquility. Prasadam adhigacchati. When you get prasada of mind, yes, eatable prasada, the panchamrita, the tirtha, and other things very well. That is also good because it will make you think of God. You will get attachment to God. That's wonderful. What happens to you? Today we speak of quality of life. The qualitative enrichment of life comes to you at that stage when you get this tranquility of mind. Now, I will give you a beautiful example from the life of one Bohemian and also a what do you call a person who had done all kinds of sins, who had led a vicious life, Girish Chandra Ghosh, who later coming in touch with the great saint or Avatar Purusha Sri Ramakrishna, how he transformed his life into a saintly mode. So we will see one incident from his life. Now he was a great drunkard. He used to come drunk, reeling, and talking glibly, can't move, bringing the alcohol, and in that intoxication used to come to Sri Ramakrishna too. So some of the devotees like Ramchandra Datta and other people, they objected to that. They went to Girish Chandra Ghosh and told, it's not good that you come so drunk, intoxicated to Sri Ramakrishna. Other people may think otherwise, bad of Sri Ramakrishna. Does Sri Ramakrishna has such devotees who are of bad, vicious nature like drunkards and other things? So give up drinking, it's not good. Or at least don't come to Ramakrishna while you are intoxicated. Then Girish Chandra Ghosh got upset. He told, never has once Ramakrishna asked me to give up drinking. He is my guru. Why are you people so bothered? When Ramakrishna himself is not bothered about it, why should you feel bothered? So the argument went on. They told, okay, Girish Chandra Ghosh, let us now go. They were all in Calcutta. Let us now go to Dakshineshwar, meet Ramakrishna, and then ask him. Okay, they all decided. Then if Ramakrishna asks you to give up, you have to give it up. Then you should not take the alcohol. Yes, if he asks, I will not. He is my guru. So they went. As soon as they entered the room of Sri Ramakrishna and Dakshineshwar, as if continuing the same conversation which they had in their houses in Calcutta, as if to continue that conversation, Ramakrishna told Girish, yes, you drink alcohol. I will not ask you to give it up. It's very difficult to give it up. But instead of just drinking that alcohol or taking that alcohol, consuming it, before that, offer it to your Ishtadevata, Divine Mother Kali. Offer that alcohol. Before consuming alcohol, offer it to Divine Mother Kali, your Ishtadevata, and then consume it as prasada. Then it will not trouble you. Okay, well and good. So Girish Chandra Ghosh was very happy. The others also kept quiet. So from that day onwards, sincerely, whenever he used to take alcohol, now he is free of that guilt. My Gurudev was told, yes, you can drink, there is no problem, but you have to offer it to Divine Mother, Kali, my Ishtadevata, and then take. He started offering every day and taking that as prasada. So when you take that as prasada, offer it to the Lord, what happens? You'll be always thinking of the Divine Mother. So that intoxication, that attachment of Divine Mother, God, will increase, and gradually that is the real joy, that is the real bliss. All these bliss are very paltry, and it also comes, that bliss also, those things, those alcohol and all the other things get those attachment from the God himself. So naturally what happened? Now he is taking that alcohol as prasad. So that is also one of the greatest or very bad sense object which is creating attachment and addiction. What happened? After some time, the attachment to the alcohol went away because he was taking that as prasad. So now the devotion, the bliss of God increased, his devotion, attachment to God, Divine Mother Kali increased. So that aversion and attachment went away, and he got absorbed in the devotion to Divine Mother. Now he got the grace of Divine Mother. He experienced unlimited divine bliss. On experiencing the higher state, the mind no longer feels attracted to the sense objects, to that alcohol or anything, and even while using them. Thus, even while tasting, touching, smelling, hearing, and seeing, like all of us, the devotee or the yogi or the person who has lot of devotion to God, so he gets that prasadam, so his mind gets tranquil. So there is no need of these sense objects for him to give him bliss at the lower level because he has got a higher bliss now. That's how Ramakrishna could make Harish Chandra Ghosh give up alcohol, the addiction to alcohol, so very intelligently. You know that Ramakrishna was also an expert in de-addiction. He had also many special ideas to de-addict people from even the drugs and other things too. So now let us go forward in the study of this verse. Now, as we told, as we studied it from the present day perspective, live in the world, do not get, do not run away from the world of transmigratory existence or these attachments and everything. Live in the midst of the sense objects, but increase the strength of your mind through the devotion to God, and then you can live, you will get the tranquility of mind with no attachment and aversion to all these sense objects. Then you can live happily here. That is the state of Sthita Prajna. That's what Lord Krishna has told us in this verse. So we will now deal the same thing, same verse with another perspective. What is that? In this verse, the man of self-control, moving among objects, that is sense objects, the object of attachment, the object of enjoyment, with his senses under restraint and free from attachment and hate, attains serenity of mind, prasadam. The man of self-control, he who has controlled the mind. Then another this thing is objects of senses, such objects as are indispensable for preserving one's life. You cannot run away because you can't close all your indriyas and live in this world. You have to be in this world. Where can you go away? Because you have these five senses and you will be looking at all the things there. You have to eat the food, you have to preserve your body, so you have to take some sense objects every day, isn't it? So here, just such sense objects as are indispensable for preserving one's life, that you can take, that will not harm. Free from attachment and hate. Attachment and hate are natural in the presence of pleasant and unpleasant objects. The seeker of God, with a mind completely under control, allows his senses to enjoy those objects that are absolutely necessary for the maintenance of the life, but always preserves the evenness of his mind. Whether the objects be pleasant or unpleasant, Thus he attains peace, serenity, and clear vision. This verse, through this verse, the question of Arjuna, how does he move about in this world, is answered. So the person of controlled mind, perfect mind, that is the Sita Prajna. Sita Prajnasya Kabasha, Sitadihi Kim Prabhasheta, Kimasita Vrajeta Kim. That was a question. How does he live in this world of sense objects? So now you have got the answer. Lord Krishna has answered the question. How does the perfect man of perfection, Sita Prajna, how does he move about in the midst of these sense objects in this world? So now we have got the answer. So now we shall still further go into the deeper aspect of this verse, then go on enjoying this verse still better way, understanding it in still better way. Because there is a lot of joy in studying these verses, because you can analyze your mind, you can see where we are in spiritual life. So that's why we can enjoy these verses. Now we shall see how Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, one of the greatest of avatars, who came down to this world, he controlled his mind, he realized God, he stayed in Samadhi, in Parabrahma Swarupa, in that Samadhi for 6 months continuously, which is highly impossible for ordinary human beings. And after that, now he's Sthira Prajna. And now how does he live? So if you study his life, you can get whatever now you can compare. We always, our mind asks, is there any person? Yes, Lord Krishna has told, Sthita Prajna is like this, he has these qualities. But our mind wants an example. It doesn't accept easily. So we have to give the example from the life of the saints like Ramana Maharshi, Swami Vivekananda, or other great people. Now, recently, just 175 years back, Ramakrishna stayed here, lived the life, and we can see so many. It has been recorded scientifically. His life has been recorded by his disciples who were with him. So we shall see some aspects of his life very quickly in a brief way and compare the verses of Bhagavad Gita here, whatever Krishna is telling about the Sita Prajna, how does he move about in the world, and then study it so that we will get a better idea of this verse. Okay. Now, again, Ragadvesha Vyuktaistu Vishayan Indriyaischaran Atmavashir Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. For the disciplined yogi, moving among objects with the senses under control and free from attraction and aversion, gains in tranquility. Prasadam adhigacchati. Now, the senses are extrovert by nature. They ramble in fields external. Those objects that are pleasing to them are hugged. So the senses hug. The objects which are liking. So now you see after coronavirus coming, the Western thing is they go on hugging each other. Yeah. Now the Indian system of doing just namaskar, not even shaking hands, has been brought back by coronavirus. You all know that. Now nobody goes to hug each other or nobody goes to shake hands with each other because of the coronavirus. It is taught as a great lesson. That was our Indian culture. So doing namaskar, from maintaining that social distance, that was there in India all through. So this hugging business and everything started later on. Now it has stopped again temporarily. So those objects that are pleasing to the senses are hugged, while those others that are displeasing are shunned. So a closer study reveals that these senses are themselves instruments. What are the senses? They are dead. They are not live. They are just instruments. What are the instruments in the hands of the mind? And the mind is the instrument of the intellect. So, as goaded on by the mind, they indulge in attraction and aversion. The mind is also instrument of we human beings. So, he is a yogi who has conquered his mind. He makes it revel in Atman, in God, instead of making the Indriyas the basic things. Okay, you have to take food, you have to breathe, to take the basic things in this world, you have to live among the senses which are indispensable to maintain your life. So please enjoy it, there is no problem for that. But his mind should be always reveling. His attachment to it is towards the Atman which is within, or God. So if it ever the Indriyas goes out, it does not, it does so being untainted by attraction and aversion. There is purity as well as innocence in its contacting the external objects, with the result that the tranquility of the mind is not disturbed. On the other hand, calmness and clarity increases if you are acting like this. It is a form of higher concentration of mind which is called samadhi. For the mind to be fixed in purity and calmness while making benign use of the senses. So now we shall start going on giving the example from the life of Sri Ramakrishna. So we now change the whole perspective now. These teachings of Krishna has been understood in a very special way. Sri Ramakrishna's life exemplifies this fact. The sight, see, the sight outside, the beautiful scenery, when Ramakrishna as Gadadhara was moving about on the paddy field, green paddy field, walking there, and above the dark clouds, before raining, the dark clouds, Megha, Shama Megha, then in that background, green paddy, beautiful air, the clouds, the dark clouds. In that background, so many white cranes, the birds' cranes were flying in a formation. So the green here, dark there, the white clouds, the beauty, it is all the they are all the objects of senses, isn't it? So that should bring in attraction and aversion, because they're all objects, everything. You're seeing it, you're smelling that beautiful paddy field, you're smelling that rainy earth, that is beautiful smell is emanating from that earth, then green paddy field everywhere, beautiful color, then the white cranes going there, that beautiful scenery, that beautiful cool air touching your skin, everything, all the senses are activated now. They're the objects of senses. What happened to Sri Ramakrishna? Sri Ramakrishna, in that life as Gadadhara, the sight of an extensive verdure below and dense black clouds above, with a group of snow white cranes in flight in between, that beautiful scenario, which is an object of our Indriya, took him into the beyond. Instead of creating attachment like ordinary people, it will create attachment and aversion. But his mind was always reveling in Atman, Paramatma Swarupa God, and he had his firm control of the Indriyas and firm control of the mind. So now, instead of taking his mind away by the attachment and aversion, because he didn't have it, the mind took it to a higher level. That is prasada. That is prasada, tranquility of mind. What happened to Ramakrishna at that time? So took him to the beyond, while and he got that beautiful joy, samadhi. His mind merged in samadhi, prasada. The highest prasada was got. Another example, while the makeup of Shiva during the Shivaratri, that person who was supposed to play the part of a role of Shiva was absent. So Ramakrishna, as a boy, was dressed up in the form of Shiva. So the makeup of Shiva was going on. on his person, Ramakrishna's person. The sense of touch. Now, the sense of touch, there, the sight and smell, everything was there, the attraction here. What is the sense of touch here? The ashes of Shiva. Shiva wears the ash, Vibhuti. So the sense of touch of the holy ash all over the body, like Shiva, they were smearing the body of Sri Ramakrishna with the ashes, holy ash, Vibhuti all over the body, transported him into the infinite. It made him to feel he himself was Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. And took his mind to Samadhi. Again, Prasada. So the ordinary touch, the ashes, made him to remember and took him. So that also every attachment, everything of the sense is living amongst all the sense objects, but everything will give him prasada, tranquility of mind. That too not ordinary tranquility of mind, very high, deep samadhi, the highest joy, bliss. So it took him to the infinite. Then, any other examples in the life of Sri Ramakrishna other than these two? Hearing of the divine name of the Lord was sure means to put him into samadhi. Even the words like karana in Bengali, the word karana means it has two connotations. One ordinary meaning of karana, the ordinary people use it as alcohol. So the name for alcohol in Bengali is karana. The moment that word karana or alcohol would be heard by any common man, so it would make him remember the sense object of that alcohol, which is an intoxicant, and its mind will be attached or drawn to the intoxication and the joy of that intoxication. But what would it do with Ramakrishna? There is another meaning. Karana means the cause. So here it is the cause of intoxication, and for Ramakrishna, whose mind was under his control and it was reveling in Atman, instead of taking him to aversion and attachment, what did it do? It made him remind the Jagat Karana, the universal cause. There is a cause of intoxication, but Ramakrishna remembered, mind went to the Jagat Karana, the universal cause, and he would merge in Samadhi. Prasadam adhigachyati. So, just the word Karana, which would put us down with aversion and intoxication and attachment, hatred and other things, sent the mind of Sri Ramakrishna flying to infinity, that is bliss, samadhi. So the aroma of incense, dhupa, the aroma of incense sticks, agarbatti, which we call in the common, the aroma of incense used in the worship, roused the divine consciousness in Sri Ramakrishna. Just the aroma coming out of the temple, the dhupa, it would remind him of God, and through God it would go to infinity, merge in samadhi. The aroma of incense sticks is nothing but good smell, that's all. That's one of the sense objects. So instead of bringing in that beautiful aroma of the aromatic compound of that dhupa and reminding him of so many other things of attachment, because his mind was under control and it was reveling in Atman, it took him to samadhi. So the taste of the sacramental food, prasada, so which is offered to Divine Mother or God, whichever prasada, sacramental food invoked is devotion to God. So thus all the five senses served him as gateways to noumenon, opposite of phenomena. Noumenon, that is the Paramatman, the infinite, Satchit, Ananda. So that all the five senses, Ramakrishna lived in the midst of them, but each of the sense object, because he had his mind under firm control, his Indriya Nigraha was firm, he was a Sthita Prajna. So all the five senses, instead of, because he had given up this attachment and aversion, so it would take him to infinity. So thus all the five senses served him as gateways to noumenon, Instead of their being impediments, they became instruments for transcendental flights of the perfected mind of this disciplined yogi. So Arjuna got the answer, and through Arjuna we all got the answer. How does the Sthita Prajna live in this world amongst all the sense objects in this world? So how Sri Ramakrishna lived with all the attractions of the five sense objects. So every example was given: the sight, the taste, sacramental food, the smell, agarbatti, dhupa, beautiful offered to God, then the touch, the ashes, Shiva dress touched to him, everything, all the five senses. He lived amongst the senses, but instead of taking him down to attachment or aversion, took him to God, the highest, the Parabrahma Swarupa. So, what a wonderful way now we have understood this. So, because of the problem in the internet and the connectivity, we had to cut short our time. Now it's already 7 o'clock, so I have to close my talk. But we have had wonderful example of the life of Sri Ramakrishna. So we will end our discussion. So on 14th Saturday, we have the Deepavali celebration. So we have the program from 4 to 6 in the evening PM. So all of you are welcome to attend that program. There will be bhajans, there will be talk about the significance of Deepavali. Revered Sharda Prabhanandaji Maharaj will also be addressing. I will also be speaking about Deepavali. There will be bhajans and many other things. All are welcome to that program of Deepavali. It is from evening 4 to 6 South African Standard Time. So 3.5 hours back from Indian time. So now I'll try to take up the questions if there are. If the reality is Brahman, why would enlightened person from Dvaita, Vishishta Dvaita and Advaita have different experiences of enlightenment? Now you know that the sun is only one. Sun is not differing. But as you are moving from the earth or from any other planet towards the sun, you will see that the if you photograph the sun, not only from different distances, now you are moving from here towards the sun. So each time you are moving towards the sun, you are taking photograph of the sun. It is not only different radii, from different level of the radii or the circumference. See, it is three-dimensional. From so many angles you can go towards sun and take a different position of yours. The photograph of the sun will be different, but it is the same sun. But you will have a different photograph of the sun at from different level of your evolution. Likewise, they are all, as Sri Ramakrishna tells, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita and Advaita are steps towards the same Parabrahma Swarupa. When you have the differentiation of ego, that I am this body and ego, then it is Dvaita. So you will see Parabrahma Swarupa as separate from you. You are a devotee, you will be serving the Lord, so you are the servant. That attitude will be there, Dvaita. Then as you move forward, the next step, higher step, Vishishtadvaita, where you see God is the whole and you are a part of Him. That is Vishishtadvaita. Then you see Parabrahma Swarupa as the highest God and you are a part of it. Then in Advaita, when you go still higher in the step, you'll see that God alone exists, nobody else. Then no part and other things. You don't exist. It is just God and God alone. So that is the at different stages of evolution, just like you see, we take the photograph of the sun, when you are moving at different levels, you see different photo. Then is the sun different? No, because you are taking that photograph at different level. In the same way, here too, we are at a different level of evolution. So as we go forward, we get a different picture. So Dvaitins, Vishishtadvaitins, there are even so many other philosophies like that. Shuddhadvaita, Dvaitadvaita, Vallabhacharya, so many other things are there. So as you move, that's why as many people, so many paths. That is why Sri Ramakrishna is told. Sri Ramakrishna desired devotees after enlightenment, since that is not a desire related to God. It is worldly desire. I couldn't understand the question. Sri Ramakrishna desired devotees after enlightenment, since that is not a desire related to God. I couldn't catch the question. Since it is not a desire related to God. Sri Ramakrishna desired devotees after enlightenment. Yeah, he desired devotees after enlightenment. Now I could catch the point. Then once our Hazra came and objected that why are you having so much of attachment towards Narendra and other devotees? So just like Jadabharata, then you will have another a life like that deer, because that Jadabharata was always thinking of the deer while during the death, and in the next life he became a deer. So it will happen to you also. Why are you thinking so much of the devotees? Then Sri Ramakrishna, as usual, just like a child, went to Divine Mother. Then Divine Mother showed him, no, you are desiring devotees only because you are seeing Narayana in them. So because you see God, because you see Narayana in them, that is why you are attached to them. So even after enlightenment, Sri Ramakrishna used to tell there is a higher state called Vijnana Avastha, whereby after Samadhi enlightenment coming down to the earth, then that devotee or enlightened person will see only God everywhere in all the things and in all the people. So that's a still higher state, that is called Vijnana Avastha. So it is not desire for the devotee, but seeing God in every object, in every person, he was serving the Lord. So that is not a desire for worldly thing. Okay, the two questions are answered. Anil Kumar, is detachment and vairagya comes to you sadhaka by installments or at one shot? What we have to make it happen naturally? So it doesn't come in one shot. So it grows gradually. As you move more and more towards God, then the desire for the worldly objects will automatically fall down. It is just like Ramakrishna gives the example of the wound cut and other things. You'll see it gets dried up. So as the wound gets healed up from within, then the skin gets dried up and it falls off naturally. Like the coconut tree also, you can see the coconut tree, the leaf, when it gets dried up after its work is done, it dries up and it will fall off automatically. Like that, here, as you go more towards God, automatically your detachment and vairagya increases, and all the worldly things will fall off naturally. Do not worry about that. Instead, worry about increasing the love towards God. So as you love towards God and your attachment towards God increases, then your detachment and vairagya to the worldly things will naturally come. So it becomes natural when your devotion to Lord increases. So as you are going nearer and nearer to examination, will somebody come and force you, do not see the movie, do not go to park, do not go to waste your time? You automatically give up everything, sleep, food, you will reduce the food. We forget the sleep, we forget the food, which is so important, we forget everything. So is it not natural there? So nobody will force you. It becomes natural when the examination comes. Likewise, when you go move towards God more closer and closer, then automatically, naturally, these things will follow. I think no more questions. Yeah. After getting the knowledge and Divya Darshan directly from Krishna, was Arjuna enlightened? Krishna was living with him 24/7, and also he gave him the Vishwarupa Darshana. He got that knowledge. But see, he was a Kshatriya and he wanted to fight. So, yeah, the will of the Lord was that he should do the righteous war to serve the world. So, the Lord will keep that Maya within him, and after that, he finishes it. Then, after that, he removes that Rajas, that nature of Kshatriya is gone, then he becomes Sattvic, then automatically he will get the higher things. So, just like Vidura was also there, Duryodhana was forcing Vidura to participate in the war. But secretly, Krishna sent him away to Vidura to what do you call the uh, Tirtha Yatra, pilgrimage. Why is that? Arjuna here is asking him to fight because his nature is Rajasic, Kshatriya. So he had to fight. That is his nature. At that time, that was his duty. But for Vidura, he was sattvic and he had grown up very high in the state of spirituality. So he didn't ask him to fight. So he asked him to go to the pilgrimage. So people at different level of their evolution, they have to do their duty, whatever is fit for them. That's all. So that's why Arjuna was still there at the lower level. So he got that the next higher level because of the knowledge and darshan given by Krishna. Then he gradually moves up and up and up. So okay, I think no more questions. Now we can conclude our discussion with the prayer or the verse of the meditation of Bhagavad Gita. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pankhum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupātamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Tomorrow morning, there will be the study of the discussion on the great master Sri Ramakrishna, life of Sri Ramakrishna, early in the morning at 6:30 in Indian Standard Time. It will be 10 o'clock. That is Thursday and Friday. Then Saturday again Saturday we will not have Bhagavad Gita. It will be Deepavali evening program. Then Sunday also there will be this children's class. Early morning, Sunday and Monday we will have the great master discussion. Then evening satsang may be replaced by the same Deepavali program. And Monday evening we have the significance of puja. Tuesday we have the Vivek Chudamani. Then again Wednesday, as like today, we have the Bhagavad Gita discussion. We'll meet again. Namaskar to all of you. Om Namo Narayana.